Okay, so we've done the major arcana, and now we're going to talk about the minor arcana. The minor arcana consists of 56 cards and is divided into four suits: the swords, the pentacles, the rods or wands, and the cups. Each suit contains 14 cards, including 10 numbered cards and 4 court cards. The minor arcana represents many of life's everyday situations, the material concerns, relationships, nitty-gritty details. The court cards often represent the people in our lives. With the court cards, there are kings, queens, knights, and pages. And for each meaning, I usually try to find somebody that represents them in my life to be able to remember them by. The king usually represents an older, powerful man or a young man that is mature for their years, men of knowledge and wisdom. The queens are usually a mother figure or an adult woman. The knight usually represents a young man who is usually single or an older man who's young at heart or exceptionally dynamic. Pages usually represent beginnings, young unmarried people. Sometimes I look at them as like from a teenager and under. But all of this depends on where it falls in your spread and the cards next to it. So always remember that. The personality of each of those will depend on which suit that it falls into, whether it's the pentacles or the rods or the cups or the swords. Also, it is a completely different meaning when it comes up in a reverse position, which is usually a more negative personality type. And we'll get into that when we get to those court cards. In this video, we are going to talk about the cups. And the cups are connected to our emotions, relationships, friendships, romance. They're also associated with the element of water and water signs of the zodiac like Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. But not always do they have that element. The first card is the Ace of Cups, and this usually represents a new love affair, relationship, something that brings you tremendous joy and optimism, fertility, and abundance. Reverse could be a false start of an unfulfilling relationship. It's like a warning to take off the rose-colored glasses and see things how they really are. The Two of Cups represents a young couple that are like really absorbed with one another. It's like going a little bit further than what the Ace of Cups were when you first meet someone. It's making it a little bit more important, and there's more passion and romance. And this card can indicate that it's an important phase in your relationship with somebody, and it could result in maybe an engagement or a marriage result. Intense eroticism is this card, and you can see it where it has, when you look at the card and you can see that spirit's above them and that light shines down, and then there's light that connects both of them together. This is usually some kind of spiritual connection with one another. But I want to be really clear here. It depends where this card is going to land and what card is next to it. Now, if it has a negative card next to it, or let's say the Wheel of Fortune is next to it, it could represent that you will feel this way for a short amount of time, but that won't last. So even though it looks positive now, it may not later. In the reverse position, it could mean that there is a toxic relationship going on, or one person has stopped communicating with the other, and there may be a need to look into this relationship more. It's basically a warning that things need to be looked into. The Three of Cups talks about a celebration. Sometimes it's weddings or graduations, something that A lot of people are gathering together, depending on the cards that are around it, but it's usually some kind of celebration that is occurring. It's a card that represents it's something to has been achieved and something to celebrate. The Three of Cups reversed is more about an overindulgence in partying or celebrating too soon or taking your good fortune for granted. The Four of Cups. This card, you can see him looking down at the cups that are empty, and the cup coming from the universe, he's not paying any attention to. Usually, this is someone that has withdrawn and focusing too much on what you no longer have and not seeing that there is still a full cup there that is going to be offered to you, but you are not focused on that. There's too many negative thoughts clouding you from seeing what's really there for you. Someone that has been jaded or has lost something that they really wanted and refuses to see that there's something better out there. Reversed is the opposite, and it's finally seeing that there is more there, more possibilities, and that you are no longer looking at what has happened, but are ready to find the new possibilities that are there for you. With the Five of Cups, it is more a card of a severed relationship. He looks over at the cups that is spilled, and usually that is something that is of his own fault, and he's dwelling on a severed relationship or an unfulfilled dream. And the two full cups behind him, he doesn't even notice. And if he would quit looking back, he would see there are two full cups and paradise is just ahead. It is a warning that if you spend too much time looking at the past, you won't see the future in front of you. When this cup comes up in the reversed position, it can represent a reunion. Uh, it could also represent perhaps an old friend will drop in or that the outlook is hopeful. The Six of Cups represents to me uh, going back towards childhood, things, a nostalgia, looking back at childhood, friends or family, and or it could even represent a past life. Depending on the cards around it, it could represent someone from your past coming to visit you or hearing from an old friend. In the reversed position, it usually represents that the future is coming faster than you think and that you should prepare for change. It is indicating to you to look ahead, not behind. The next card is the Seven of Cups. And this card is a warning that you've got too many ideas going on at once, and that is distracting you, and that you should take one of the ideas and focus just on that because all of them you'll never succeed when you've got a little bit in each cup. And if you look at the cups, there are different things in each cup. Some are negative, some are positive. Take the positive ones, focus on one cup at a time, is usually what this card represents. The reverse meaning of the Seven of Cups is to cut through all the fluff, get to the heart of the matter, quit focusing on thinking. It's time to take action. Your willpower will carry you through. With the Eight of Cups, it talks about how he is walking away from the cups and going towards the moon. And it's saying that don't walk away before the completion of something. Don't turn your back on success. Depending on the cards around it, it could represent leaving a long standing relationship. When the Eight of Cups is reversed, it is usually coming to completion of a project, and you've done so successfully, and there will be celebrations coming. The next card is the Nine of Cups, and the Nine of Cups is the wish card. And when you get this card, it means that a wish will be granted to you. But it also came with a warning, and that warning was to be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. Anybody who has wanted to be with somebody really bad, and once they got with them and found out it was terrible, can really relate to this card. And that's what I think of whenever I see this card, is be careful what you wish for. The reverse meaning is usually no, or the time is not right for this wish to be granted. Usually, when it's reversed and it says no, that the universe is actually doing you a favor. So if you ever get this and you're disappointed, I can promise you that the universe has something better in store for you. The next card is the Ten of Cups, and this is the card of fulfillment and happiness. It usually represents emotional happiness, a family, life goals that you want to achieve. Unlike the Ten of Pentacles, which has all of that and even more, it's still a really good card for domestic relationships and having the things that you really truly want in your life on that path. When the Ten of Cups is reversed, it usually represents petty arguments, taking each other for granted, not seeing what you have before you, and forgetting what is truly important in life. Now we're going to go into the court cards. And the first one is the Page of Cups. And this can either represent good news coming, or it could represent an actual person. And that person is usually young and is a sensitive type. Could be the three water signs, but not necessarily. It could be someone with that type of character, someone sensitive, emotional. If a young person does not fit with your story, then it represents, usually a page will represent some kind of news. With the cups, it could be something spiritual, it could be something emotional. In the reversed position, it could represent a younger person who is distracted easily, someone who is over emotional, someone that's very easily influenced by other people. If it doesn't represent somebody, it could mean some negative news coming to you. The Knight of Cups usually represents a young man who is on a quest, and he is what I would refer to as a knight in shining armor, which could go either way. So be careful with that one too. They are usually attractive, they are looking for love, and they are on a quest to fill that cup. Positive aspects of this kind of man is spiritual, romantic, charming. The reverse position of this card is someone who is a player, someone that's only out to conquer someone or several people for their own egotistical needs, and they are usually very egotistical and manipulative, someone to be very suspicious about. The next card is the Queen of Cups, and she is someone that is very loving and relies on her intuition. She could be a really strong mother matriarch, or she could work in a career that could deal with helping people. She relies on her emotions, and she is very, people will think of her as very motherly, compassionate, and caring. In the reverse position, this card reminds me of my mother, where she was very loving, but in a very toxic way. She gave more of what we wanted than what we needed. And when she would get emotional, it was like over the top emotional. And so I think of that when I think of this card. The next card is the King of Cups. And he is someone that is compassionate, and he would probably be someone that would fall in the career of a doctor or a counselor, or he may fall in a very caring father role. In the reversed position, he could be a drunk, someone that is over emotional, over dramatic. He could be toxic and fall in a category of someone that explodes easily. He is also, like the reverse of the Queen, can be someone that loves his family too much and doesn't give them what they need, but gives them what they want, and that could fall into a very bad place. And it's funny, I didn't realize it till just now. It reminds me exactly of my dad. That's my dad. Now, also remember that these cards can represent you. If they don't represent somebody in your family or your circle of people, it can represent you. So that's it for the cups. Next time we will talk about the swords. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It would mean the world to me. Until we meet again.